guys doing today? This is Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Real Perception Christian news brief for January 15th, 2014. Still seems kind of odd using 2014 instead of 2013. Let's jump into it here at politicalticker.blogs.cnn.com. Obama to pay visit to the Pope. President Barack Obama plans to soon meet with Pope Francis for the first time. Secretary of State John Kerry said the president was looking forward to visiting the popular new leader of the Roman Catholic Church at the Vatican. Kerry did not say when the trip would take place. The White House said it had no specific travel announcements to make, but that Obama very much looks forward to meeting Pope Francis at some point in the near future. Kerry, a Roman Catholic, met with the Vatican's leaders on Tuesday to discuss foreign policy and economic issues, including Francis's outspoken stance on income inequality worldwide. He did not meet with the Pope. Wow, okay. So, now, again, why do presidents meet with the Pope and kiss their feet and kiss their hands and bow down to him for? I mean, not to understand. I mean, do you think Abraham Lincoln would go and meet with the Pope? Don't think so. Let's move on here to news.yahoo.com. Afghan president accuses U.S. of killing 7 children in airstrike. President Hamid Karzai on Wednesday accused the United States of killing 7 children and a woman in an airstrike in central Afghanistan, an incident set to further damage frayed ties between the two allies. Relations between Washington and Kabul have been rocky for years, and negotiations over an agreement that would allow some U.S. troops to remain in the country after this year have broken down into a long-running public dispute. As a result of the bombardment by American forces last night in Siragurd district of Parwan province, 1 woman and 7 children were martyred and 1 civilian injured, a statesman from Karzai's office said. Wow, Obama's drone force is still in force. Let's move on here to RT.com. Single cinder block was used to contain toxic chemical prior to mass West Virginia spill. State inspectors found that the company involved in a major chemical spill in West Virginia had set up a simple cinder block and a 150-pound bag of safety absorbent powder, according to the Charleston Gazette. On Thursday, officials with the state's Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP, responded to complaints of a smell coming from the area of Freedom Industries facilities, noting the rudimentary measures taken to block the flow of crude MCHM, leaving a compromised containment tank. This was a Band-Aid approach, DEP Air Quality Inspector Mike Kolb said. According to the Charleston Gazette, it was apparent that this was not an event that had just happened. State and local officials said Freedom Industries' containment dike was full of cracks and holes. Wow, so that's literally said it was a Band-Aid. Just put a cinder block and a bag of sand by it. Let's move on here to Infowars.com, article written by Paul Joseph Watson. Discovery Channel, stop worrying about Fukushima radiation. The Discovery Channel has posted a YouTube video urging its viewers to ignore trolls and fearmongers and stop worrying about Fukushima radiation. In the clip, host Trace Dominguez blames a mob for trying to make others believe that deadly radiation from the crippled nuclear plant could be hitting the west coast of the United States and is responsible for killing animals and sea life. Even though Discovery Channel, CNN, and all major news organizations told us that it would hit our shores by 2013, 2014, but let's just ignore it once it's into 2013 and the beginning of 2014 and it has arrived. Let's just ignore it. Dominguez highlights a viral video showing an individual using a Geiger counter to detect abnormally high levels of radiation on a beach in San Francisco, an act that led public health officials to discover radiation hotspots 1,400% normal levels that one expert said posed a health risk to young children and babies. As Infowars reporters who subsequently visited the beach confirmed, authorities have failed to erect warning signs to notify residents that the area is dangerous. Wow. Despite experts saying the radiation discovered on the beach was a health risk, the Discovery Channel host blames conspiracy hawks for freaking out about the issue, despite admitting that background radiation on the beach is 7 times the normal levels. And this is the normal levels now. Let's just remember after the Fukushima incident on May 11th, 2011, or March 11th, 2011, a couple months after that, they just raised the acceptable levels for radiation. So these 7 times normal levels are probably actually 10, 14, 15, 20 times normal levels. Old normal levels. Let's move on here. It's the dailymail.co.uk. NASA plans to build homes on the moon. The space agency backs 3D print technology which could build a base. Wow. Creating structures in space that astronauts can live in has become a priority for NASA. With a manned mission to Mars on the agenda and plans for lunar exploration underway, scientists are increasingly looking towards an unconventional construction methods. The most promising of these is 3D printing, which could make building a lunar home in space a matter of pressing a button and letting a robot do the work. Wow. NASA has now provided funding to the University of Southern California to develop a specific 3D printing technique known as contour crafting. Wow. Let's move on here back to Infowars.com. Another article written by Paul Joseph Watson. Kelly Thomas verdict. Cops now have license to murder. The acquittal of 2 Fullerton, California police officers in the beating death of Kelly Thomas, a homeless man who was pummeled into a coma as he begged for his life, underscores the fact that cops now have a license to murder. Thomas, a mentally disturbed homeless man, was beaten, tasered, suffocated, and pistol-whipped as he lay on the street corner being sat on by no less than 6 police officers during an incident in July of 2011. And what is undoubtedly one of, if not the most disturbing police brutality videos ever, Thomas can be heard pleading for his father, moaning, "Daddy, Daddy, they are killing me," as officers pull along the assault. Now you can click on here and you can watch the video, you can listen to the audio, you can see the aftermath yourself, but I just warn you, it's the most graphic, violent thing I've ever witnessed. I mean, I've had mixed emotions. I mean, it made me want to cry, it made me want to throw up and puke all over the place, and then it just left me in a rage, so forewarning for all you guys out there. Let's move on here to MrConservative.com. Teacher violates first graders' First Amendment rights, saying, "You're not allowed to talk about the Bible." In a clear and concise violation of our Constitution, although it may not be fully understood by the first grader, a student's First Amendment rights were violated during a speech a student was giving around Christmas time. The teacher cut her off, made her sit down, and dictated that she was not allowed to talk about the Bible in school. Now, the law is quite clear here, and that is teachers or those who serve in a teaching capacity are not allowed to share their religion, regardless of what it is, with students. In a certain sense, this is understandable as young minds are open to suggestion, and the teacher's beliefs may not align with the beliefs of the student's parents. Now, when it comes to students, they have the good of the Constitution at their backs, defending anything they say. The teacher had sent students home with a share bag, asking that students bring something and that reflects their family's individual holiday tradition. One could only wonder how she didn't see something like this happening. Wow. Little Bryn Williams, the first grader, brought in her Christmas star tree topper and explained that her family called it their Star of Bethlehem. She went on to explain that her family likes to make sure they keep Jesus in the center of Christmas, and went on to share that this is her 1-minute time slot allotted by the teacher. Her teacher abruptly stopped her mid-speech and told her to sit down. As Williams' speech was set to end with the Bible verse John 3:16, the teacher informed her that she was not allowed to talk about the Bible in school. A misinformed comment. Wow, there you go. Evolution, but no God. Let's move on here to freebacon.com. Taxpayers paid nearly $175 million for penis pumps between 2006 and 2011. Yeah, you heard the title, or the heading correctly, I should say. Taxpayers paid nearly $175 million for vacuum erection systems, VES, commonly known as penis pumps, from 2006 to 2011, according to an Inspector General report released on Monday. The federal government paid more than double the retail price for VES, the Department of Health and Human Services, IG, found. Medicare prices for the systems, the report said, remain grossly excessive compared with the amounts that non-Medicare payers pay. Medicare paid 473,620 VES claims during calendar years 2006 to 2011, according to the IG report. Healthcare policy experts said the revelations in the IG report are troubling indication of what they describe as wasteful spending in federal healthcare programs. Wasteful, would you say? The fact that taxpayers have spent more than $250 million over the past decade on penis pumps via Medicare is obscene and insulting. Even more so when you consider that it is an arena of Medicare expenditures rife with fraud and where the government doesn't even bother to assess medical necessity, says Ben Dominic, a senior fellow at the Heartland Institute. Wow. Let's move on to the last article. Well, this is actually a YouTube video of the day by Mark Dice. CBS hit show Intelligence promotes Mark of the Beast, transhumanist tech as coolest thing ever. Let's give this a listen.
One of the top shows on television today is the new CBS series Intelligence, about a government agent who has a neural interface or computer implanted into his brain so that he can connect wirelessly to the internet, making him a transhumanist super soldier. Do I need to point out that CBS's logo is an all-seeing eye? Yeah, the Television show is wildly popular, the most watched new series, introducing the idea of transhumanism to the general public. While many people still believe that this is science fiction, this technology is rapidly approaching to become a scary reality, what is very most likely the mark of the beast, which the mentally enslaved mainstream media watching lost souls will line up for to accept. Ray Kurzweil is one of the big guys promoting this, who believes and is working towards becoming immortal himself, and kind of like the Lawnmower Man back in the 1990s, that film. He wants to upload his brain into the internet so that he can become God. And he works for Google. He has a lot of money and a lot of resources behind him. There's also a film coming out in the spring titled The Transcendence, starring Johnny Depp, that will again introduce the transhumanist technology to the masses. Now, again, Ray Kurzweil believes that he will become digitally immortal, uploading his brain and any others to the internet. Of course, Intel plans that computer chips in your brain will control computers by 2020.
Wow. This is a long video. Well, actually, it's only 11 minutes, but too long for me to play during this news brief. If you want to check out the full thing, I highly suggest you to subscribe to Mark Dice on YouTube. Check out his Facebook page. And also, this YouTube video will be linked in the description box. That's all I got for you guys today. I don't want to leave you without the New World Order quote of the day. To achieve world government, it is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, loyalty to family traditions, national patriotism, and religious dogmas. That's from Brock Adams, director of the United Nations Health Organization. Now, of course, we got the proverb of the day. This is Proverbs 15:14, King James only. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on the foolishness. Wow. That's all the news and articles and quotes I got for you today. I'll leave you guys off with a song I brought you guys in on. This is by Resurrection Band, 2000. Pretty fitting for the last Mark Dice article.